Well, I finally did it. I took my new Leica Q Type 116 out into the real world of photography. Not just a couple test shots at home, this was actual work. A paid gig, live theater musical production, some agricultural photos for an ag stock agency I work for, plus a few random moments in between. After my last video, many of you wanted to see what this little Leica could actually do and whether I made the right decision to leave Fujifilm. So, as requested, here are the first results. Hey everybody, I'm Joseph Kreiss, Joseph Kreiss Photography, and I've been a professional photojournalist for over 45 years, and this is Embrace the Grain. If you watched my last video, which a lot of people did, I was totally blown away, over 30,000 views on that particular video, you know that I gave up my Fujifilm camera system, my digital camera system. It was on the old side. I got rid of all that and put the money towards another old camera, and you all know which one that is. It's the Leica Q Type 116 or 116, 24 megapixel, full frame sensor, digital camera. And I have to say right off the bat that so far, so good, but we'll let the images tell the story here in just a little bit. First off, I wanted to repeat thank you so very much for everybody who's watched that video, who pretty much blew up the channel, who left hundreds and hundreds of comments, and to those who decided, yeah, this might not be a bad deal, I'm going to subscribe. Truly appreciate that more than you can imagine. It just was mind-boggling. And for those who left comments, I just got so overwhelmed by the comments coming in that I wasn't able to personally comment back to everyone. They just were coming in so much that I couldn't keep up. So I apologize if you left a nice message that I didn't respond to, but I appreciated every one of those comments and welcoming me to the Leica Club and dissing me for getting rid of my Fuji equipment. So I didn't get rid of all of it. I still have the X100S. So when I filmed that last video, I knew a lot of questions were going to be popping up about what in the world were you thinking? Why would you get rid of all those lenses and bodies and limit yourself with a fixed lens digital camera that has a 28 millimeter on it? Well, not just any 28 millimeter, the Summilux fabled 1.7 28 millimeter. And that's a very good question. I owned and used a number of Fuji telephotos or zooms, and they came in very, very handy in the line of work that I was doing up until recently. And otherwise, I probably wouldn't have gotten rid of that system had I wasn't ready to make kind of a switch to lighten the load, go to one camera, one lens, and well, actually now two cameras and two different lenses. Or if you like the way the Leica Q does it, it gives you 3 different focal length croppings digitally in the camera, which I've tried on a couple of different jobs that I've shot with this camera so far. And again, we'll see the results of those later in the video, so stick around for that. And finally, another reason for doing this follow-up video is so many of you commented that they couldn't wait to see the results that I got by using the Leica Q. So to answer all those inquiries and desires by you, the viewers, it's going to be more like a slideshow, and I'll be showing you images that I've taken and talking about them, giving you a little bit of tech data, but not a ton. It's just so you can get an idea of the colors, the feel, and whether or not I thought the Leica Q was going to come through and be worth the investment. So let's go check that out. Well, I've taken the Leica Q out to a soybean field. These are all soybean plants, and they're pretty common here in southern Minnesota. Thought I would try out the Q, taking some pictures of the field, and also using the close-up, the macro settings on this beautiful 28mm lens to try to get some pictures of the just starting to form soybean pods. So let's get to work here. Okay, let's switch this lens into macro mode. As we see here, there's a couple of grippy things here. Just spin that around. You can see how the lens barrel changes to show the different depth of field settings. And let's see how close we can get with macro on this Leica Q. Well, the battery just went completely dead, just like that. I guess I wasn't really paying much attention up in the viewfinder what the battery level was. So running back, getting the battery out of my bag, and we'll be back up shooting in no time. All right, battery charged. Let's get back at it. The 28mm gives you a really nice wide angle without a lot of distortion. Kind of gives the whole feeling of this huge soybean field. Let's switch over to the 35mm crop and see what that does. I'm shooting at f/16 at 250th of a second and 200 ISO. Very bright, shiny, sunny day. It was really overcast earlier, so this is good. Switching to 35mm crops with a little button right behind, and there we go. Let's do the 50 while we're at it. That is quite a difference for the crop, and that might work good getting into a little bit closer to some of these soybean pods. Let's try that. Not as close as I'd like, but let's see here. Let's switch to macro and see if I can get any closer. The soybean pods are very, very furry at this stage. I'm hoping to be able to pick up some of that hair that's on the pods. And 250th of a second at f/16. Not sure if that was totally in focus. We'll see when we get back back to the house and check it out on the computer screen.
Well, we all know you can't buy a new camera without stocking up on a bunch of accessories to make that new camera feel a little bit more comfortable in the hand. So some of the things that I purchased after getting my Leica Q were the Wasabi battery 2-pack for the Leica.
Wasabi!
A lot more easily accessible on Amazon. and also a lot cheaper than the Leica ones that are apparently hard to come by for the Q. And by the way, all the links, affiliate links for these things are in the description of this video. If you click on them and buy them, I get just a little bit of a kickback, so I appreciate that for helping the channel. Also got a SanDisk 64 gigabyte Extreme Pro SD UHS 1 card, which has a very high write speed, which is tailored for the Leica Q. Also picked up a canvas messenger bag, mostly for carrying my iPad, but also for storing my Leica Q and my Fujifilm X100S in there, and it kind of doesn't look like a camera bag, but you have your gear with you. Several pockets for batteries and filters and cords and things like that, so it's a good deal off of Amazon. Also got a screen protector for the Leica Q's back screen, and a thumb grip. That one's from Thumbs Up, which is very highly regarded within the Leica Q community. Make sure you're getting one for the Leica Q116 if that's what you're putting it on. It won't fit on the Leica Q2 or Q3, so be aware of that. I did buy a half case from Mega Gear for the Leica Q, and a very nice case actually. I was going to send the half case back after I purchased the Leica grip for the Q. I think I'm going to hold on to it and use it when we travel, so if the camera's just kind of banging around, and it'll protect the body, keep it from getting dinged up. You'll probably see my Leica Q with the half case on it as well. So those are some of the accessories that I bought for my new Leica Q, and again, the links for those are in the description of this video. Well, I just arrived at the venue and a little bit nervous for some reason. All my familiar equipment, except for one camera, is all gone, and of course now I'm bringing along my Leica Q Type 116 to photograph this performance. It's a dress rehearsal, so I'll have a lot more freedom of moving around inside the theater. And I usually make myself very much at home at this venue and the Fairmont Opera House, where I know all the ins and outs of places to go. I don't know how much filming I'll be able to do inside the theater once I'm in there and working. I'll try to get a few clips, but we'll after the show, we'll take a look and see how the Leica Q did with live theater.
All right, so we're back from the theater. I've downloaded all the images off of the Leica Q and also the Fuji X100S. We're just going to be looking at pictures from the musical Annie that were taken with the Leica Q. So let's start going through these.
Let's take a look at some of the first images that I shot with the Leica Q as part of my photo coverage for the musical Annie at the local community theater here. Did a great job, by the way. I always start backstage trying to get some candids of the cast and crew doing their thing. And this was a good test for the Leica to see how it handled available light. Some of the lighting backstage is pretty dismal. This shot of the butler and the maid, that was shot with just the one overhead light in a stairwell that leads between the stage and backstage. And that was cranked up to ISO 3200. So I think the level of grain isn't too bad there. Okay, so we got Little Orphan Annie and President Roosevelt in the wheelchair with Daddy Warbucks and the assistant gal. And here you see that there's some pretty good expressions on Little Orphan Annie and Daddy Warbucks. I believe that one is the 35 millimeter crop, the digital crop on the camera. Next frame here shows that same image cropped in Photoshop to show how well these Leica Q 24 megapixel images hold up under enlargements and high ISOs to handle this stage lighting. I really wanted to put the Leica Q to the test, and here's backstage, the stage director's podium with one single light on the paperwork there. And again, 3200 ISO. That's probably shot wide open. Wow, it really picked up the details really well. I converted the black and white shots after coming back to the computer and doing the black and white conversion there. I shot a few things with black and white in the monochrome mode in camera, but I just wanted to make sure that I was getting the color images if I needed, and if I thought that they'd look better in black and white, I would convert them. Again, I was shooting JPEGs and the DNG files of everything during the show. Can we say something about the color rendition of the Leica Q's Sumilex 28mm 1.7 lens? Beautiful. In the past with the Fujifilm cameras, I've struggled getting good skin tones and proper color rendition, especially under the variety of temperature stage lighting. And you can see from the applause sign, the whites are white. Skin tones look pretty decent. Beautiful color on the curtain. Can't be happier. I have to say something about the Leica Q's autofocus. It was pretty much spot on for every image I shot except for maybe two. The X100S was struggling even in the pretty well lit backstage area, the dressing room area, where I missed a really nice shot with the Fujifilm X100S because it couldn't focus fast enough. The Leica Q, that wasn't a problem. I'm very, very happy with the way the Leica is picking up focus and also stopping the action. The ability to use a faster shutter speed during these productions, these live theater productions, is a bonus. Of course, who doesn't love the Big Apple NYC? I love the stage lighting design for this particular scene in Annie, where they go touring downtown New York. And I love the colors in this, just gorgeous from the Leica Q. So to wrap this up, I've got to show you the first two frames that I took once I got the batteries charged and the SD card in the Leica Q. Here they are. From there, though, I went and wandered around the downtown, shooting some street stuff and hidden gardens, and just had a good old time just getting to know my new Leica Q. So, what are my impressions of the very vintage Leica Q Type 116? I very much like this camera. I think I made a great decision. A couple reasons for that. I'm very pleased with the results I've gotten from the camera, from just picking it up a few days before going and shooting a couple assignments. The color rendition is awesome. The autofocus for me, for my standards, was spot on. It hit just about every shot. About 99% of them were tack sharp as far as I'm concerned for my needs. The other thing that I like about the Leica Q is its shape. I enjoy the shape of that camera, the weight, the feel that it has in my hands. I just so wanted to love my Fujifilm X Pro 1. It just wasn't comfortable in my hands, and if you put a longer lens on it than the 35 millimeter or a short 50 millimeter, it was very unstable and just weight forward. With the Leica Q 116, I think this is going to become a very good workhorse. I'm also teaming it up with the Fujifilm X100S, and that has a 35 millimeter full frame equivalent lens on it. And in future videos, I'm going to be telling you how I'm going to adapt that camera to give me just a little bit more pull. So you'll want to stick around for that video when it comes out.
So I want to thank you for watching and appreciate you subscribing to the channel, and tell your photography friends, your Leica family members to check out this video and all the others that I have on Embrace the Grain, Joseph Kreiss Photography channel right here on YouTube. Until the next time, keep on shooting and making those memories with your camera.